And like, I guess he just thought people would like think that's funny because she was like nervous and like excited for the date. But people were like, what? Like, why are you saying that online? Because like, why are you trying to make Selena Gomez look desperate? The first red flag for Selena Gomez would have been that she's like dating this like multi-millionaire guy and she has to drive to his house to like pick him up, or like he's not coming to pick her up and like take her out, or at least like sending her a driver.
Selena Gomez's world isn't just spinning, it's spiraling. From swirling drama with her man Benny Blanco, to whispers of betrayal involving longtime friend Teresa Marie, to the financial freefall of her mental health company Wondermind, everything's unraveling and fast. Let's start with the bomb that has everyone talking. Benny Blanco, yes, the same Benny she's been showing off on Instagram, has allegedly been getting real close with Teresa Marie. How close? Close enough to subscribe to her OnlyFans, close enough to be spotted having lunch like it was anything but casual, and close enough to make fans wonder, is this another case of betrayal from someone inside Selena's circle? Teresa isn't. Just a friend, she's been by Selena's side since 2014. But if what's being whispered is true, this would be the third close friendship Selena's lost in recent years. And that's not just coincidence, that's a pattern. But buckle up, because the mess doesn't end there. Selena's mental health startup, Wondermind, co-founded with her mother Mandy Teefee, is making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Allegedly, they're struggling to even pay staff. Reports say Mandy had to take out a personal loan just to keep things running. Now fans are asking, if Selena's as rich as everyone thinks she is, why isn't she stepping in to save the company? That question got louder when Forbes dropped a bombshell. Selena Gomez is not actually a billionaire. And suddenly, things started making a lot more sense. I'm Alana with Scandalous Media, and today we're pulling back the curtain on the chaos, from romantic red flags to business breakdowns, and why everything around Selena might not be what it seems. Let's get into it. The first red flag, Selena just unfollowed Teresa Marie on Instagram. Now, if you've been keeping up, you know Selena doesn't unfollow people lightly. She barely uses social media. So when she does make a move, it's deliberate, strategic. According to Inside Chatter, Selena was recently spotted out with her core crew, Ashley Cook, Courtney Lopez, and Raquel Stevens. But Teresa, nowhere in sight. Worse, she was already unfollowed by then. And if you remember Raquel, yes, the one who got dragged during the My Mind and Me docuseries, the internet made her the villain. Turns out, maybe they had it wrong. What's even wilder? Right when all of this was happening, Benny Blanco was allegedly subbing to Teresa's OnlyFans. A clip surfaced of them sitting way too close at lunch, and Twitter lost it. The theory? Selena ditched her longtime bestie after finding out Benny was paying for her private content. But here's the real plot twist. She stayed with him. Cue the chaos. Headlines exploded, fan theories spiraled, and social media lit up like wildfire. Then came the receipts, or something close to it. Teresa had reportedly posted Benny's Sexiest Man Alive People cover on her Instagram story, which isn't the move you'd expect from a friend whose relationship with Selena is all good. Of course, Selena tried damage control, flooding her socials with cutesy pics of her and Benny, even sliding in a throwback shot with Teresa. But she didn't refollow her, didn't comment, didn't clarify. The air between them, still thick with silence. So are they done? Not officially. But the signs are clear. That friendship is fractured, maybe beyond repair. Now let's rewind, because Teresa isn't just some influencer. She was Selena's assistant. They lived together. She wasn't in the inner circle, she helped build it. So what happens when one of your oldest allies gets too close to the man you love? That's where things get messy. Really messy. Let's talk about Benny, because if there's one thing he can't seem to do, it's stop talking about Selena. And not in a cute, I'm in love kind of way. We're talking cringe level. Overshares that feel more like subtle digs than sweet nothings. Take this little gem. Benny told the world that when he and Selena started dating, she'd show up to his house early. Not just a few minutes early, like 20, 30 minutes early, and he'd watch her on his security cameras. No text, no invite to come in, just Selena waiting in her car while Benny kept an eye on her, like she was some overeager fan instead of his girlfriend. Fans were horrified. Why was she waiting outside? Why didn't he let her in? And why Why did he feel the need to share that? It didn't stop there. Benny bragged that Selena was the one who asked him out, and even then, he had no clue it was a date. When she dressed up and said, "Well, I would have worn something different if I knew this was a date," he looked at her, stunned, and said, "Wait, this is a date?" Fans didn't know what to do with that. Is it cluelessness? Is it carelessness? Or is Benny just low-key trying to paint Selena as the one chasing him? Because the pattern keeps repeating. He revealed that she was the first to say, "I love you." And they turned it into a whole album theme, "I Said I Loved You First." A cute concept, until you realize it's yet another example of Selena leading and Benny reacting. And now people are wondering, is this love? Or is she just constantly trying to prove her love? Let's be honest, fans don't trust Benny. Not because of hard evidence, but because of how he talks, how he acts, how he consistently says things that make Selena look off. Even those trying to defend him are struggling. Because no matter how you spin it, he comes off like the guy who doesn't realize he's making his own girlfriend look bad. And it gets worse. TikTok has already started calling out the vibe shift. Why is Selena doing all the driving, all the emotional lifting, all the effort, while Benny just chills? One viral comment said it best, "She's showing up early. He's watching her from a camera. She's saying, 'I love you.' He's cracking jokes. It's giving. She's in. He's amused." And if you're wondering why that matters, it's because fans are starting to say out loud what no one wanted to admit before. Selena Gomez might have an anxious attachment style. She might be overextending. She might be settling, and it shows. Let's not forget, she said before that her past relationships were mostly Diddy dates, casual, detached, emotionless. Then Benny comes along. He's weird. He's self-deprecating. He jokes that she's doing charity work by dating him. And instead of challenging it, Selena laughs along. But when does it stop being a joke? When does the self-hate start to infect the relationship? Because fans are noticing something else too. Every time Benny drags himself down, he drags her reputation with him. And it's not just embarrassing, it's exhausting. But the biggest twist in this entire story, it has nothing to do with Benny. It's the collapse of Wondermind, the mental fitness company Selena co-founded with her mother, Mandy Teefey. From the outside, it looked solid. A-list branding, mental health mission, backed by a global star. But behind the scenes, it was sinking. Fast, the red flag, the red. Reports surfaced that Wondermind couldn't even pay its own employees. Mandy herself allegedly took out a loan on her house just to keep things going. A co-founder mortgaging her home, while her daughter's living in a $35 million mansion? That disconnect hit hard. People started asking, if Selena cares so deeply about mental health, why isn't she stepping up? The backlash exploded when Forbes stepped in, and they shattered an illusion that had followed Selena for months. She's not a billionaire. Turns out Selena's net worth is estimated around $700 million. Yes, that's rich, very rich, but it's not billionaire status. And that distinction suddenly explained everything. Let's break it down. A person's net worth includes everything they own: houses, cars, stocks, businesses, not just cash in the bank. So when fans heard $700 million, they imagined vaults of money. In reality, most of that is tied up in rare beauty. Where Selena owns a 51% stake, that's value on paper, not liquid cash. Meaning, she can afford a $35 million mansion, but not necessarily $60,000 in payroll for Wondermind. At least not overnight. The math might make sense. But the optics? Disastrous. How can the face of mental health advocacy let her own mental health company bleed out in silence? And it wasn't just about the money, it was the distance. Sources told Forbes that Selena had only met with Wondermind staff once in 3 years. One meeting for a company built around her personal story, her brand, her voice. That silence started to feel less like privacy and more like indifference. Fans tried to defend her. They claimed she was less hands-on, that the finances weren't her responsibility. But deep down, even they knew it didn't look good, especially when Wondermind was laying off 60% of its staff. If this was truly her passion, something born out of her own mental health struggles, wouldn't she be fighting for it? Instead, it felt like mental health had become just another accessory, a piece of branding, a curated story, a shield. Forbes tried to soften the blow. They reminded everyone that Selena's wealth is still massive. They also clarified that her rare beauty stake is the real prize, and that her ownership explains the net worth headlines. But the damage was done. Even Selena's own fans began asking hard questions. Was the mental health brand ever real, or just another PR extension? The conversation got even messier when people started dragging Forbes itself. Some claimed Forbes got it wrong. Others said Hailey's camp paid them to tank Selena's image. Wild? Maybe. But in this media landscape, nothing's off the table. By now, fans aren't just curious, they're divided. Because what's unfolding between Selena and Benny doesn't feel like a fairy tale anymore. It feels like a case study in imbalance. Every new detail adds fuel to the fire. Benny keeps talking, Selena keeps reacting, and the public keeps wondering, is this really love? Or just loyalty? Remember that awkward Hot Ones interview? The one where Selena was asked to name Benny's most underrated song? She blinked, laughed nervously, and said nothing. I don't know what song you would have done. I'm sorry, babe. Benny's face crushed. He replied, so I just get no answer? The moment was painful, not just for them, but for everyone watching. Even if the spicy wings were to blame for the mental freeze, the damage was done. It felt like she didn't know his work, didn't care, or worse, wasn't as present in his world as she pretended to be. That's when fans started asking the real questions. Is this a couple that's growing stronger, or are they both just trying to appear in sync? And if they're truly engaged, why does everything still feel so fragile? The wedding talk hasn't helped either. Every time the topic comes up, Selena dodges it. I'm just too busy right now. She says it like clockwork. Meanwhile, Benny sits there, mouth slightly open, like someone forgot to let him in on the plan. It's giving confusion. It's giving delay. It's giving, maybe there is no wedding. Now, fans are dissecting every move, every quote, every joke, trying to figure out if this relationship has a real foundation, or if it's just something they've both been trying to believe in for too long. Then there's the infamous first kiss story. Benny shared it recently. Selena was so nervous. She broke out in a rash. A rash on her face from kissing him. Most couples would keep that private. Not Benny. He told the world, then joked that it must have been because she found him disgusting. Cue the self-deprecating spiral. Again. And while some thought it was just Benny being quirky, others saw it as a red flag. Why does he keep painting Selena as desperate? Why does he always make her look like the one doing the chasing? At what point does quirky become disrespectful? That's the new theory floating online, that when a woman gives a less attractive man a chance, he eventually flips the script and starts acting like he's the prize. And every time Benny opens his mouth, he confirms that theory. It's not that Selena's fans think she's making a mistake. It's that they're watching her become the version of herself they never expected. Chasing, overcompensating, settling, and for someone who's built a career on independence, that reversal hits differently. Now, while Benny's over here cracking jokes, Selena's brand is bleeding. Wondermind, the very company that was supposed to champion mental health, is drowning in unpaid invoices. Reports claim they laid off over 60% of their team. They allegedly owe tens of thousands to freelancers, and at least $60K to a PR firm alone. And that's just what's public. Behind closed doors, insiders say the debt runs deeper. This was supposed to be a passion project, a movement tied to Selena's story of survival, healing, and hope. Instead, it's turning into a case study in brand dissonance. The truth? Selena built Wondermind on her vulnerability, but when it came time to show up, she ghosted. And the damage isn't just financial, it's emotional. How do you position yourself as a mental health warrior? Then distance yourself from your own mental health company? How do you let your co-founder and mother take out a home loan while you stay quiet in your Beverly Hills estate? That silence isn't neutral, it's loud. And fans noticed, they began to ask, if Selena really cared, why hasn't she done anything publicly? Why hasn't she defended the staff, clarified the finances, even acknowledged the layoffs? Instead, she's remained radio silent, while Forbes, TikTok, and Twitter piece together her empire's contradictions. That's why the rare beauty comparisons feel so strange. Yes, rare beauty is thriving. Yes, it's her biggest asset. But the contrast is jarring. One brand is expanding, the other is imploding, one is built on product, the other on promise. And that's the part fans can't ignore anymore, the growing disconnect between Selena's message and her moves. She says she's passionate about mental health, but her own employees say they've barely seen her. She says she's building a safe space. But behind the scenes, it's layoffs, lawsuits, and leadership gaps. The illusion is cracking, and the fallout is just beginning. Forbes tried to explain, in a way, that most of Selena's wealth is tied up in rare beauty, that she doesn't have a vault full of cash to dump into Wondermind, and sure, that's financially accurate, but emotionally, it still feels like abandonment, especially when fans hear that she's only met with Wondermind staff once in 3 years. One meeting, for a company that was supposed to change lives. Now, the conspiracy theories are getting wild. Some fans claim Hailey's team paid Forbes to expose Selena's real net worth. Others believe Forbes is punishing Selena for not sharing her financials. But even if that were true, it doesn't change the facts. Selena Gomez isn't a billionaire. She's not Wondermind's full-time leader. And she might not be the savior fans hoped she'd be. What she is human. And right now she's caught between the image she's built and the reality she's living. Wondermind hasn't released any major statements. Selena hasn't followed up. And fans are left wondering what happens next. Will she come forward and clear the air? Will she save Wondermind from collapse? Or will she let it fade quietly? Another good idea buried under. Better branding? We'll be watching. And you'll be the first to know. In the meantime, drop your thoughts down below on Benny, Teresa, the wedding rumors, and Wondermind's collapse. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in. Because the next scandal, it's already brewing.